Hello there, this is Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring the best information to you, dear listener.
I'm pretty excited this week. I think it's going to be a really fun one. It's a noisy batch this week.
Yeah.
What do you think the likelihood is of getting an impression?
Oh, I put this in my notes.
Oh, good.
0. From
What?
me. From me, 0.
Okay, well.
From you? I don't know.
Now, see, the kids aren't home or sleeping right now, so I can be as loud as I want in here.
Okay. I'm glad that's your limiting factor.
That was the limiting factor, yeah. Which is whether or not it's going to wake up the kids.
Yeah.
Listen, the ones we've got lined up for today, that would be, if we were to do an impression of them, it would, in fact, disturb the children.
Yeah.
You want to talk about our little bug adventure the other day with our 6-legged friend that was on the inside of our screen door?
Oh, yes. So it's summertime, and we still have windows and doors and things open to help cool down the house during those times of the day. Very recently, we found a large brown praying mantis on the inside of one of our screen doors.
So fully within the bounds of our house.
Yes.
Inside the threshold, sharing our home.
Yep.
Not paying rent.
Went to try and just close the door. Maybe I figured found his way in somehow, might find his way out. Did not.
No.
They're
unfortunately quite stupid.
So, we did the typical glass and flat surface thing to just kind of scoop it up and place it outside. We have a fun rock wall in our backyard that I placed it on. It was fun to see it kind of climb straight up that wall. It was cool.
The 3-year-old was very excited about the mantis once it was contained within the glass. Mm-hmm. There was a glass cup that you used to scoop it up, which is great for this sort of interaction because you can still see the bug. Yeah. He was so excited about that. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you lifted the cup, all bets were off. He wanted nothing to do with that situation.
That was fun.
A little mantis rescue operation.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, though. I was like, you do not actually want to be in here because there is a cat in this house. And that mantis was, in fact, trying to square up with a cat.
It barely fit in that glass, so I had to make real sure that I wasn't hurting one of its legs.
Yeah, this was a huge mantis.
Yeah.
See, we didn't even have to go out into nature. The nature came to us.
It's free.
Our house has been reclaimed by the wilderness.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, what animal do you have for us this week?
This week I have the Siamang.
Yay. Now you say Siamang. I've heard it's Siamang.
And I was saying it that way too. But apparently that is best case, not the most correct way to say it. Worst case, just wrong.
Oh, no. That sounded like you very gently trying to tell me I was wrong.
I don't know. See, so here's the thing. This was one of the last things I did on my notes.
I often have that moment where I'm about to talk on something and I'm like, oh, I should really quick check to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly.
So most videos I found, including from zoos and things of people talking about the animals that they care for, or even Nat Geo type things, all pronounce it Siamang.
Okay, fine.
However, Webster does list both pronunciations.
Webster's dictionary defines.
Yes.
That's how all your notes start.
So I will try to continue saying it that way, but do not be surprised if the other way slips out.
That's fine. I won't be mad at you.
The scientific name for this is Symphalangus syndactylus. So this species was submitted by Lily Ahern.
Thank you, Lily.
And I'm getting my information from San Diego Zoo and Animal Diversity Web. So, the Siamang is a primate.
What kind of primate is it? Is this an ape or a monkey or what?
It is an ape. It is part of the lesser apes.
That seems so mean.
And is actually one of the gibbons. So think of kind of a stockier monkey, very long arms, strong, and often swinging.
Yes.
In the trees. And this one has black fur, can have gray patches as they get older.
Oh.
And
same.
The biggest thing you'll notice about them visually is when they do their calling, they have an inflatable throat sac.
We love a throat sac moment.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah. So that gives you a picture. Size-wise, from head to rump, they are 75 to 90 centimeters long, or 30 to 35 inches, and 8 to 13 kilograms, or 17 to 28 pounds, with males being slightly larger.
We can see now why we're going with lesser ape.
Yeah.
Certainly smaller than other apes.
Yeah, and that's also much less pronounced sexual dimorphism as we see in the larger apes. Because in those, like, the males are really big, like much bigger sometimes. And where you can find them is in Malaysia and Indonesia, in trees at a height of 25 to 30 meters or 80 to 100 feet. Just to put that into perspective, 100 feet is about the height of a 10-story building.
So they're way up there.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize trees could get that tall.
Especially in that part of the world.
Yeah.
They belong to the taxonomic family Hylobatidae, which includes the other gibbons. Now, the siamang is actually the largest of the gibbons.
Yeah, they're pretty big when you see them. I've seen them in a lot of zoos, and I feel like I have a good sense for how big they are. They're like, I don't know, like small child sized, I guess. There was a really neat, very, very short little like infinite like runner game that I played one time called Gibbon.
Wait, was it supposed to be infinite or was it just that one time?
Actually, now that you say it, it wasn't supposed to be infinite. It's like, I think like once you complete the story, like you can just kind of like play in like infinite mode.
I see.
But it's like a runner game where you have to like time like jumps and stuff like that to get through. And I was playing it on a stream actually, and I swear I didn't do anything wrong. I swear I was playing the game totally normally and as intended, and I got stuck in an infinite time loop where it kept like for whatever reason repeating this one little stretch of land over and over again for like a full hour.
Like it wouldn't generate the next thing.
Yeah, it just did the same little stretch over and over again. I was stuck in like Sisyphean sort of like gibbon purgatory.
So I think I'll jump right into our first category of effectiveness. And this talks about things like physical attributes, the things that they have that helps them do everyday things. So I'm giving an 8 out of 10 to the siamang. And the first thing I want to talk about is their swinging ability.
This is fun. This looks like fun. It looks like they're having a good time up there.
Yeah. It makes me envious. In the same way I look at a bird and think, man, that would be fun. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it seems like a very efficient way to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. They have lots of things that make them very good swingers. Don't
Try again. Say a different word. Gymnasts, perhaps.
Sure. So first of all, they have opposable big toes.
What?
Yes, in addition to opposable thumbs.
Now, see, we like to flex, like, oh, look at us, we got opposable thumbs. Like, we're like the coolest, most advanced animal. And primates are like, oh, you only have opposable thumbs?
Womp womp.
They're at 200% thumb capacity.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really good for grabbing onto things. And then also when they're walking along tree branches and that kind of thing.
I guess that makes sense because we, walk on flat ground. We don't really need to be gripping a lot of stuff with our feet, except that doesn't stop me from doing it.
Right. I pick up pencils.
I'm always picking stuff up with my feet.
Now here's something about their feet that doesn't necessarily help them climb. I actually couldn't find a reason for this, but something that separates them from the other gibbons is they have partially webbed toes.
Interesting. Now, why y'all got to be doing that?
I don't know. And that's actually called being syndactylous, which is its species name.
Oh, in the name.
Yes.
I wonder, because you mentioned that they live in Malaysia and Indonesia, and these are parts of the world that are very wet. So I'm wondering if maybe they often fall into like I'm thinking about proboscis monkeys, which also live in like mangroves and forests along rivers. So I'm wondering if these apes spend a lot of time like falling into the water. And
hopefully not, because they can't swim.
Oh, okay, never mind. What an unusual combination of traits.
I don't know. Maybe it's something they're losing still. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe like a holdout, like a leftover.
Don't know
trait.
But yeah, they have webbing between their second and third toes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for gliding. You ever glide with your toes?
I'm gonna let this one cook for a couple million years.
That's a surprise tool that'll help us later.
Alexa, remind me in 1 million years
to try gliding with your feet.
I'm really sorry if I activated your Alexa, dear listener. And perhaps again there.
It happens to us all the time. But can you imagine if it was an adaptation for gliding, but they could only glide with their feet just like totally spread open, just like letting them dogs just air out.
Nope, right out of there.
For free?
So back to the swing ability. They have very long arms that are actually longer than their legs, up to a 1.5 meter or 10-foot arm span.
Whew.
Oh, that motion of swinging through the trees is referred to as brachiation. So it actually works two different ways based on how fast they're going. So if they're going slowly, it probably works the way you're imagining it, where they're holding on with both hands into a tree and they're using their body's weight to get some momentum to swing forward. And when they do swing forward, they'll let go with one hand and grab the next tree branch and then repeat that motion, alternating its hands.
Yeah.
Like, just reaching out, grabbing a branch, letting go of the rear hand and just repeat that.
Right.
That's when it's going slower. But when it's going quicker, it's actually gaining some air. So it's letting go of both for a moment to let itself like swing forward and fly through the air for a little bit until it grabs onto the next branch.
Fully like putting your faith in physics.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a lot like the difference between humans walking and running.
Oh yeah, because when you're running, you're actually there.
There's a moment where both of your feet are not on the ground.
Yeah,
right? Which is the closest we can get to like defining running versus walking.
I thought you were gonna say the closest we can get to flying. Like, but they are still. It's interesting. They're like running, but with their arms instead
basically
of with their legs.
Yeah. So, and sometimes they can get some serious distance. That is something of a leap of faith in my eyes.
Yeah. That's why I was thinking, like maybe they're falling into the water a lot. Because if you're, if say you're crossing over like a creek or a stream or something and you like time a jump wrong, you go plummeting.
I'm sure they do, but just once. And those swings can be up to 10 feet long.
Whoa.
Yeah. When they aren't swinging, they'll walk on two legs. Now, when you picture a gibbon walking around on two legs, what do you imagine it's doing with its arms?
Oh, I didn't ever think I would have to think about what they're doing. This feels like when you're just walking normally, you don't think about what your arms are doing. And then when you try to think about what you're doing with your arms, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with my hands. I mean, just kind of dangling by their sides, sort of swinging, maybe in like sort of counterbalanced motion.
But for them, that would mean dragging them on the ground.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so
don't like that.
What they do is they actually hold their hands above their heads as they're walking on their feet to balance.
Aww.
Because that's how top heavy they are with their arms.
But it does look like they're just kind of like Halloween, sort of spooky.
Yes. But it's a balancing thing, it turns out.
Oh, but it's also very funny.
I'm sure when they have the opportunity, they would, grab onto branches and things that are within reach to stabilize. But yeah.
Like they're just keeping their arms up just in case a branch happens by, because they're like, that I'm actually way better at doing.
Well, it kind of reminds me of watching a person walk a tightrope or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's true, because if you're like on a balance beam or something, holding your arms out to your sides is a better way of... Have you ever been on a balance beam?
I mean, at like playgrounds and things.
No, like a real proper, elevated balance beam.
No.
Here's a little lore drop. I took gymnastics as a older child, preteen, sort of, for like a few years. And I got to the point on the balance beam was my favorite thing to do. And I got to the point where I was on those balance beams that are actually like a few feet off the ground.
Yeah.
They're like, 4 feet up or something like that. You could do like cartwheels on them and stuff like that. Yeah. I really enjoyed the balance beam. But it is like when you're walking on a balance beam, you do have to which I would imagine is the same dynamic as for a primate that would be walking on a branch, right? Where you have to center your balance.
Yeah, maybe. But even like when they're on flat ground, they'll do this like arm motion just to keep them above their head.
I love it. They look like they're trying to scare you. Can you imagine one wearing a little ghost costume?
Oh, no. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is their throat sac that we briefly discussed. So physically, it's meant to act like as a resonance chamber. So it increases the volume of their calls when inflated. And the coloration.
Screaming into a balloon.
Yeah. So it can be gray or pink.
I like it when it's pink.
Yeah.
That is quite fun.
Yeah. It's very big contrast with the rest of its body. Already mentioned, can't swim. I do consider that a negative, personally.
Yeah, what are you doing? Although most primates can't swim.
Sure.
It's kind of rare for a primate to be able to swim at all.
They're just too dense usually, right?
Like a lot of times it's a muscle, Meaning, you said, like a muscle density thing. Not they're too dumb. Like, can't figure it out, stupid.
Just swim, gosh.
No, like they're so muscular and like lean, and muscle is a lot denser than body fat, so they just sink, and it's difficult for them to swim.
Right.
But I know proboscis monkeys are they're very good swimmers. Orangutans can like kind of swim a little bit. They're not great at it, but they kind of can, which makes sense because they also live in very wet areas. But like gorillas and chimpanzees, nothing. They just sink right to the bottom.
You see, what they should try is using that throat sack as a life vest.
Now we're cooking. This is something. But then they'd have to like hold their breath the whole time.
Yeah.
In case of an emergency, your throat can be used as a flotation device.
Yeah. Moving on to our second category of ingenuity. This is things that they do that are smart. Could be things like tool use and that sort of thing. So I'm giving another 8 out of 10 here.
Very good.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the calling feature.
Please.
So it can be heard up to 2 miles away.
Yeah, it can.
Or 3.2 kilometers.
It sure can.
It's mostly used for claiming territory. Yeah.
And what does it sound like, Christian?
I'm not doing it.
Can you describe it?
Howling.
So there's different calls, right? Like some of them will be very high pitched, like yelpy sounds. But then also sometimes when they're being a little quieter, there'll be these sort of low pitched, like hooting sounds almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Ooh. They kind of sound like ooh.
That's how it starts, but then then the beat really drops.
Anytime I've been to a zoo that has siamangs, oh my gosh, you can hear them everywhere. If you go nice and early in the morning when they get really rowdy, that's a fun time because you can hear them all over the place. I love it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure it's not as cool to people who live within 2 miles of that zoo.
Well, here's a funny thing about it, which kind of adds on to that. So early in the morning, the family's adult female will start hooting, and then the others join in. And it's meant to warn other families and can last up to 30 minutes.
Yes. Yep. It sure.
So not only is it loud, it's also for a while and early in the day.
It's the daily yap sesh. You got to wake up and start your day with just a little yap sesh.
Now here's something cute. Paired males and females sing duets to each other.
Oh.
And that duet is also unique to that pair.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that. I also like the woo. I like that sound because it sounds like they're kind of asking like you up, like woo.
They have other forms of communications, including facial expressions, body posture, and gestures. Another thing I thought was interesting was their family closeness, which is unusual among gibbons. So they stick together during most activities, so you won't see them like kind of going off on their own very much. And they also partake in mutual grooming.
Oh, this is like the classic sort of like you'll see any primate is always like shown, cleaning each other.
There's also a dominance thing there to where the more dominant individual will receive more grooming than it gives. Yeah,
being the recipient of the grooming is like, that's the flex right there.
Also, mating pairs will usually stay together for life.
Because they're the only ones that can deal with each other screaming. It kind of makes sense that they would want to stay together for a long period of time because like you mentioned, they like learn a duet that's like specific. So like once you and your partner know all the words and harmonies to like more than words by extreme, you're not gonna like go find someone else and then you're gonna have to learn all the words to a new song, and then what if you both want to sing the melody and nobody wants to take the harmony? It's a karaoke disaster. So like you gotta stick together at that point.
Who's got the time
to learn 2 songs in this economy?
Who needs a new song when one is all you need?
That's just the one.
That's from Moana.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is, isn't it? That was a good one. Good pull.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
They sleep upright in the fork of a tree, sometimes cuddled up in groups.
Perfect. No notes. I love this. This is my favorite thing in the world. It's so cute.
That's another big difference between the lesser apes and the greater apes, is that they don't build nests. The last thing I want to talk about here is the baby rearing that they do. So the infants hold on to the mother's chest fur pretty much immediately, but the father takes over daily care after a year, which is unusual for primates. And then they're weaned after, like, early on in the second year. And the young stay with the family for 5 to 7 years total, then leave to make their own family groups.
Well, this sounds like a very wholesome sort of family environment.
Yeah. And after that, it might take several years before finding a mate.
Listen, we all go at our own pace. There's no rush. Don't rush things when it comes to finding a mate.
Well, it's interesting, and this is just, the human interpretation of non-human behavior. But it would seem that, they spend a lot of time and resources into finding a mate, and then they hold on to that mate.
That's what it's all about, man.
And then our last category of aesthetics. This is how cool or cute they appear. For me, I'm giving a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, okay.
There are more impressive primates out there.
Sure.
And the throat sack is really kind of the keystone of its whole deal.
If you're not into throat sacks, this is not the primate for you.
Yeah. Although I'll say at least it goes away when they're not using it.
That's true. It is kind of a when deployed sort of thing. It's very frog-like.
Very much. I find their locomotion interesting to look at. Just kind of watch.
It is relaxing, I think. The rhythm of it is really fun to watch. I think, which is why it makes for such a good game. I enjoyed that little game where you were playing as one. Yeah. I feel like this is what the Tarzan stuff was mostly inspired by. Reminds me of that video, Pink! Get down! Have you seen it? It's a Scottish guy talking about Pink at her concerts.
Oh,
and like at every concert, Pink is like doing just like the wildest acrobatics up in the air for like an hour straight. And they're like, Pink doesn't have a single song where she needs to be doing all that. There's this Scottish guy where he's on TikTok. He goes, Pink, get down!
That's fun. Yeah, and then, I don't know, as far as apes go, I find them pretty cute.
I think so, too. Yeah. This is a good one. They're cute. I like the sound, too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to hear it all the time. It's a sometimes treat.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear sometimes, and then I get to go home, and I don't have to hear it every morning.
Sorry, zookeepers. And they're far enough out of the uncanny valley to not be unsettling.
That's true. Sometimes primates can get a little too close. Yeah. They can get just a little too...
I don't like that.
No, too much. Scale it back. I need you to be a little more animal than that.
I didn't come here to have a mirror held up to me.
That's how I feel about bonobos. Bonobos, I'm like, that's too much. You need to back it up.
They are endangered, which I believe all gibbons are, actually.
Oh, wow.
And this is mostly because of a loss of habitat to logging and agriculture, and also the illegal pet trade.
I can't imagine keeping one of these in your house or feeling any desire to keep one in your house.
Yeah.
Who needs an alarm clock? You could just have screaming for 30 minutes every morning.
Well, and unfortunately, the way they are collected from the wild is they will take the baby and kill the adults.
Oh, no. But, like, they spend so much time together and, like, the baby's not going to do well, right? Like, that baby needs a lot of time with their parent, right, to thrive. Yeah. That's not going to be good for them.
Yeah, probably not in the big picture of things.
No.
But also, it's, removing individuals from the population.
Yeah.
So, they are endangered. I wish I had a more fun thing to end that on.
They just like me for real. 6 a.m. Time to scream. Sometimes you just got to wake up and scream for 30 minutes. Yeah. Can you do a Siamang sound, please?
I can't. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like, oh! It's like that.
It is like that, yeah.
It's like Jake from Adventure Time when something scary happens. He's like,
that's Finn, actually.
Sorry, it's okay. There's two dudes in Adventure Time, and I never remember which one's name is which.
I know, humans and dogs
they're so similar. That's what they sound like.
Oh, you know why you're probably confused? Because one of those times I think he says Jake before doing that scream.
Oh, okay. Our kids find it really, really funny.
I do too, for the record.
We happen to make that sound a lot in our house because it's very funny. It's a funny way to respond to any mild inconvenience.
There are worse ways. So that is the Siamang. And I believe I went that whole time without mispronouncing it.
I'm so proud of you.
Please don't roast me if you find out otherwise while editing.
I'm going to just like do a Vine boom sound every single time you say it wrong.
I was just wondering what people call that sound.
Yeah, it's the Vine boom.
Perfect.
Or an extremely loud, incorrect buzzer. Every time you say it, it's like,
So
we'll play a little game where we count out. We cannot introduce a mechanic to this podcast in which you count every time we pronounce something incorrectly, because I feel like that's going to be very embarrassing for me very quickly. Well, thank you, darling. That was a very fun time.
Thank you.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Max Fun Network, and then we'll get to my animal.
One thing we all have in common, we all have a mind.
It makes me so scared because I'm like, when is the bad thing going to happen?
And minds can be kind of unpredictable and eccentric.
Everybody wants to hear that they're not alone. Everybody wants to hear that someone else has those same thoughts.
Depression Mode with John Moe is about how interesting minds intersect with the lives and work of the people who have them. Comedians, authors, experts, all sorts of folks trying to make sense of their world.
It's not admitting something bad if you say, this is scary.
Depression Mode with John Moe, every Monday at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get podcasts.
Soundheap with John Luke Roberts is a real podcast made up of fake podcasts. Like, if you had a cupboard in your lower back, what would you keep in it?
So I'm going to say mugs.
A little yogurt and a spoon.
A small handkerchief that was given to me by my grandmother on her deathbed.
Maybe some spare honey.
I'd keep batteries in it. I'd pretend to be a toy.
If I had a cupboard in my lower back, I'd probably fill it with spines.
If you had a cupboard in your lower back, what would you keep in it? Doesn't exist. We made it up for Soundheap with John Luke Roberts, an award-winning comedy podcast from Maximum Fun, made up of hundreds of stupid podcasts. Listen and subscribe to Soundheap with John Luke Roberts now.
I'm at 13% battery, so this is a real race against the clock.
I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
If you could just avoid playing Pokemon Go while doing the podcast.
Honestly, I have a notification right now.
All right. So, what have you got this week, Ellen?
This week, it's the laughing kookaburra.
Another noisy critter.
I know, that's the theme for this week. I always try to have like a subtle theme for the week. This is the opposite of subtle. The theme for this week is screaming.
Yeah.
And boy, does this one do it. So, the laughing kookaburra, scientific name Dacelo novi-guineae. And this species has been submitted by a lot of people recently. This was requested by Madeline Goff, Connor Saunders, and Danielle Robinson. So thank you all for pushing the kookaburra to the top of my mind.
Love this bird.
This is a great bird. Have you seen them in person?
Yeah, I have seen them in person, but I haven't seen them do the call in person.
I have. I have a fun story.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's a lot of lore drops for me this episode. I'll get into that later, though. I'm getting my information from the San Diego Zoo, the Nature Conservancy Australia, and the Australian Museum.
San Diego twice here in this episode.
They got it all. They've got it all. What can I say? And they have a great website. Like their website has tons of info on it.
Yeah, and from a UI perspective. We're not getting paid.
No, I'm sorry. This is not like a guerrilla sponsorship for the San Diego Zoo. I just really like their website.
I will take a t-shirt though, if anyone is listening.
I know y'all listen. I'm being so for real right now. Send me a t-shirt, please.
My size is XLT. Thank you.
Okay, anyway. So if you're not familiar with kookaburras, this is a stocky white and brown bird with a big old noggin. They got a giant head and a long pointy beak. It's like thick, but it tapers to a sharp point and it's kind of long. They have a brown mask-like stripe across their eyes, and I guess I never really noticed this before, but blue spots on their wings. Like just on their wings, just little spots of like an iridescent blue. It's very cool.
Kind of like how some ducks are, maybe.
Yeah, it's more of like a little sort of smattering of blue across their wings, which is pretty cute. They're pretty big. They are 40 to 45 centimeters tall, which is 15 to 17 inches. This makes them the largest kingfisher.
Oh, they're kingfishers.
They are
that makes
kingfishers,
sense.
yeah. That taxonomic family is called Alcedinidae, which are the kingfishers. There are 118 species of kingfisher, and I didn't know this, 5 different species of kookaburra. So there's not just one kookaburra, there's 5 different types. And they are found in Australia. They are actually native to eastern Australia, so like along the eastern coast, but have been introduced to southwestern Australia and Tasmania. I'll talk about that in a little while. To get into effectiveness, I'm giving them a 7 out of 10. Kookaburras are known and named for their, I'll call them distinct songs. They're distinct vocalizations. They throw their head back and they just let out this sort of riotous call made up of lots of different sounds like chuckles, also hoots, cackles, and trills that is all sort of magnified by the rest of the flock, right? Like one starts going, they all start going.
Love it.
It's great. It's really wonderful to me. But I really wanted to look into physically how do they make these sounds? Because this is just common for birds, right? Like birds make really, really intricate sounds and can make really elaborate sounds that the human voice isn't always like capable of making. So I was curious about why that is. So first we should take a look at how we make sounds, humans. We have a structure in our neck called a larynx. Do you know where your larynx is?
Yeah.
If you can feel your Adam's apple, that's where your larynx is. So the larynx is, it's also known as your voice box. So if you've ever heard people talk about your voice box, that's what this is. It's not like box shaped. I always imagined it being like an actual box. When I was like a kid, I thought of it that way.
Well, the other name doesn't make much sense either.
What?
The vocal cords.
Oh, no, that I'll explain that too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
basically the larynx is connected to your trachea, which is your windpipe. So when you breathe in air, air goes down your trachea through your larynx. And the larynx is also lined with these folds of tissue that vibrate when air passes through them, which makes sounds. And that's the vocal cords.
Right.
They're like, I guess you could kind of see it being cord shaped because they're like folds of tissue.
See, yes, but as a child, when I hear that term, I'd imagine it something like, I don't know, a violin.
Oh,
like
yeah, like strings. Yeah. It's not quite like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's folds of tissue that vibrate, and those tissues can expand or contract to change the pitch or volume of the sounds that's produced. Now, for birds, it's a little different. Birds do have a larynx, but that is not where their vocal cords are. They don't make sounds with their larynx. Instead, their vocal cords are in a structure called the syrinx, which is not in their neck like ours is. It is down in their chest because it is right at the point where the trachea splits into the lungs. So where it forks from being one tube into 2 tubes because it needs to feed into both lungs, right? Their syrinx is right there at that intersection. So that means that they have 2 chambers that can produce sound instead of just one like us.
I was just thinking, is it using the lungs as like a resonance thing?
No, it's not like in the lungs,
Okay.
but it is at the branching off point. So it gives them 2 chambers, like 2
I see. Okay.
tubes basically. As we have the 1 tube, they have 2.
I see.
And so that means that they can be producing 2 different sounds at once.
Oh.
And they can produce sound on both inhale and exhale.
Okay.
And we kind of, it's really, really hard for a human to produce sound on an inhale. But they can do it. And being able to make 2 sounds at once means that they can, for example, harmonize or do like overtones that like humans can do this. It's very difficult and it takes a lot of like learning and training to know how to do it.
A lot of wind instruments, that's accomplished by just basically humming into your instrument while also playing the note.
Yeah, so birds just have like a built-in sort of mechanism to let them make multiple sounds at once. Or like for cardinals, for example, like cardinals can make one fluid sound that goes from being very high pitched down into like a lower pitch. And it's because they can switch back and forth between those chambers really quickly. So they can go like from high to low very, very quickly because they can make 2 sounds at once.
Wow.
Yeah, so kookaburras have the same, it's called a tracheobronchial syrinx because it goes from the trachea into your like bronchial system, which are your lungs.
Yeah.
And it lets them make really, really elaborate calls. So it lets them switch from making, if you've ever heard a kookaburra's call, I'll have to drop some audio of it, but they switch from making different types of sounds very, very quickly. And also the sounds have very unique shapes. So like when a kookaburra is laughing, you can hear they're going from making like a distinct ah sound to like an ooh sound, which we do with our lips, right? We can do that with our lips. We go ah ooh, like just by moving our lips. They have a beak. They can't make that sound with their beak. Like it's difficult. They can't form that sound with their mouth, but they can still make these really distinct vowel sounds with their syrinx.
Although I think I remember seeing video of them using the beak like as a start and stop mechanic in the sound. Like won't they like clap the beak as they're making the sound sometimes?
They don't have to.
I know they don't have to, but I think
if they're clacking their beak, it's more for like the percussive, like to make an actual like clacking sound.
Yeah, but it would also affect the sound that's coming out of their throat.
Yeah, but I don't think they need to do that. Like they can do most of what they need like sonically just with their syrinx. But I think it's really interesting because it lets this also is what lets birds be so good at mimicry because they can make layered sounds. You know, like have you ever heard like a lyrebird repeat the sound of like a car starting or something, or like a camera shutter, right? Because you have to make like both the sound of like the clicking sound but also the sort of whirring sound of like mechanisms inside of the camera. They can make both of those sounds at once, so they can make a very like faithful replication of a complex sound,
which implies pretty good hearing and processing.
True. Yeah, you'd have to like, or just hearing that sound so much that like you know exactly what it's supposed to sound like. So yeah, I think the kookaburras are just kind of experts at controlling these like really crazy sounds that they can make. They're really exploring their vocal range here. And I paid for the whole syrinx, so I'm going to use the whole syrinx.
Right.
Kookaburras also have very chunky noggins, which you'll see when you see one. They're like, it looks like when you look at their body, they're like 30% head. They're so bulky. This sort of broad, sturdy structure helps them catch and carry their prey. Now, these are carnivorous birds. They fully eat like live prey. And it is mostly things like small reptiles, small mammals, other birds. It's like kind of bigger prey. It's not just like the little bugs and worms that you usually see birds eating. They're fully going for like pretty big animals. So having a big muscular head helps them carry that stuff around. Now, it's an interesting departure from the typical sort of kingfisher like blueprint because kingfishers tend to be built for diving. Most kingfishers, I want to say they're the only kingfisher that is like totally not really affiliated with the water. Like kingfishers are built for diving. That's why their beak is sort of tapered in that way. It's to like let them sort of smoothly dive into the water. Kookaburras really don't dive. And they tend to live in dry places. Like they're not confined to like lakes and rivers like other kingfishers usually are. They live in places like really dry, arid, like scrub forests and things like that. And they just don't really tend to dive that much. So they're kind of built for something that they don't do. I don't know. I felt like maybe that was an effectiveness ding, I guess, because I don't know, you're kind of not like optimizing your build. You know, like they're not taking advantage of what they were like really built to do. But they're really good generalist predators. They'll happily eat a fish if one is available and given to them. But it's not, you know, they usually will just go for small mammals or something on the ground.
Sure.
Now, I found this to be kind of surprising. Chicks hatch with a hooked beak, which they may use to fight their fellow nestmates. They will just turn right on each other. A good departure from the wholesome family environment of the Siamang family. The kookaburras they come out swinging. This is one of those things where it's like they'll do it if they need to, if it's like times are kind of lean, you know, maybe there's not a lot of food available. They will compete with each other sort of viciously for a spot in the nest.
Sorry, kids. There's only one Happy Meal.
You just set it down on the table and like, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to walk away and y'all sort this out. So yeah, kookaburra chicks can be kind of brutal. Now, for ingenuity, I'm giving kookaburras an 8 out of 10. And to circle back to the laughing, let's talk about why they do it. A lot of this actually overlaps with the Siamangs. A lot of it is for marking your territory. Like kookaburras do tend to be pretty territorial. One territory will be sort of controlled by a family group of kookaburras, which will be a mated pair and then their offspring. But it could be like multiple generations of their offspring. So it could be like 4 or 5 different siblings of different ages that just stick around for a while, but they don't like other kookaburras. They don't want other kookaburras coming into their territory. So they can be pretty aggressive about defending their territory from other kookaburras. So they use these calls to basically let other kookaburras know where they are, where their territory is, advertise their presence, kind of like announce themselves to other kookaburras. But of course, they're pretty clever birds. So they could also use their calls to like alert each other, like warn each other if there's a threat nearby, find mates, right? These could be advertising themselves like, hey, you up? Now, here's my little story time. I have conversed with a kookaburra.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I have. It was at Sunken Gardens in St. Petersburg, Florida. You've been there with me before. Do you remember
that's
this?
like a botanical garden?
It is a botanical garden, but I don't remember if we saw the birds while we were there. They do or at least they had when I was younger, a bird collection.
Well, if you remember, I was there when we were fleeing a hurricane.
We were actively fleeing a hurricane.
Which you might think, St. Pete is not where one goes to usually outrun a hurricane, but
the hurricane was on the other side. It was fine. They do, or at least they did when this happened. They had like a bird collection there, an exotic bird collection. So they'd have like, parrots and macaws and cockatoos and a kookaburra. And it was kind of like, I don't know, like an attraction, I guess, that you could go there, and if you made a sort of kookaburra-ish sound, it would laugh back at you.
That's fun.
And I was able to do that. You could just make the sound at them and they will do it right back. It's very fun. It's a bit like turkeys.
Yeah.
How like if you make a gobbly sound at turkeys, they'll do it back. It's very silly.
Now, what is the perception of the bird, though? Is this like, oh, someone's challenging me? I have to...
I mean, the bird didn't seem bothered or stressed by it. It seemed like it was just like joining in, like they'll do it. They're so chill with it. They're not bothered at all. Like you just get them started, and then sometimes they're like, I got it. I'll take it from here.
Perfect.
It's very fun. It's very fun to do because you really feel like you're like talking to them. You feel like you're having a conversation. Also, here's a little fun fact that you can bust out. The dolphin sound that is often used in TV shows and movies. It's what you probably think of when you think of a dolphin sound. The one that's like that sound. That's a kookaburra call sped up.
Oh.
Yeah, it was they took a recording of a kookaburra and just like pitched it up to not sound exactly like a kookaburra. Because if you've ever like heard an actual dolphin sound, it's more of like a creaky, clicky kind of sound.
Yeah.
They don't sound like that, like squeaky, like that.
Huh.
That's a kookaburra call, including in SpongeBob.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The SpongeBob dolphin sound is a kookaburra call.
Well, that's interesting.
It's kind of like a hawk sound where like a lot of times they'll just throw in a kookaburra sound if something is supposed to be like in a jungle, right? Like if you're watching like a show or a movie and there's a scene that's supposed to be in some sort of rainforest or like dense jungle, they'll usually like layer in a bunch of like just sort of general exotic sounding animals.
Right.
And a kookaburra is one they often go to, which is very funny and also a lot of times these scenes will be like in South America or like Asia or something like that. And I'm like, why would there be a kookaburra here? So if you hear one, be very annoying about it. Also, of course, there are the remixes of the kookaburra
love
call.
those.
Those are really fun. They'll like drop the beat. Although sometimes I'm a little disappointed in them because I feel like I could do them better, but I don't have like the technical knowledge to know how to do it better. But I do like when you just like drop a sick beat with a kookaburra. That's always great.
I'd go to your SoundCloud.
You would? Oh, thank you. I'll make sure to rely on that as my sole source of income. So when they are hunting, kookaburras will like stay perfectly still on a branch and they just wait. And once prey is spotted, they'll quickly swoop down on it to catch it. But then things get interesting because they bring it back to their perch. Like they just turn around, go back to their perch. And then they use a little strategy I call come on and slam.
What?
And welcome to the jam, because they will just slam it repeatedly against their perch over and over again. Yeah, they just like, and they put their whole body into it. They like wind up for it and then just like flick their head down to like slam this thing against the surface. And they do this for literally everything. Like it's really good for a prey that could maybe fight back against them or something that might have some sort of defenses, like spikes or armor or something. You know, you give it a few good thwacks to knock some of that roughage off of it. And this is part of why kookaburras are also famous for eating snakes.
Huh.
They just do it all the time. There's tons like of pictures and videos of kookaburras just being completely unbothered by snakes, which, I mean, doing that in Australia takes a certain level of audacity, I feel like. You got to be built different to be eating snakes in Australia.
Are they going after like the very venomous ones?
Yes, they will go after the very venomous ones.
Huh.
It's not that they're like immune to the venom. They're not. They're just brutal.
Yeah.
They just like beat it into submission. This is actually why kookaburras were introduced to other parts of Australia as snake control.
Oh.
But the last thing I wanted to say for ingenuity is that kookaburras are notoriously tame. They are very unbothered by people. They're very comfortable around humans and will often gladly accept food right out of people's hands, whether willingly given or not.
Huh.
So it can be a little bit of an issue if you're having like having a cookout, maybe throwing some shrimp on the Barbie.
Babe.
And a kookaburra could swoop down and take food out of your hands. They're like seagulls.
No, my bloomin' onion.
Now, what you said was worse than mine.
Not by much.
So yeah, they will just kind of take food right out of people's hands, which can be fun if you are offering them food on purpose, but it can be not fun if you are trying to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And here comes a kookaburra. Because I don't know about you, I would not feel confident in my ability to fight one of these things. I feel like I would cave immediately.
Well, I mean, it's not going to stick around to square up. It's going to take and go.
I'd be like, well, there goes my sandwich, I guess. Bye. See you later. They are of least concern, conservation-wise. So being sort of generalist predators, they can adapt and thrive pretty well in areas that are developed by humans. They're not like super bothered by that. So they don't really suffer from habitat loss to humans because they can kind of overlap pretty well. So their populations seem to be pretty stable. Now, in the late 19th and like early 20th century, laughing kookaburras were introduced to Western Australia, Tasmania, and New Zealand, which of course they love it when you do that. Things go great when you introduce things to New Zealand. They were not native to these areas. The intention was for the kookaburras to control snake populations, which to their credit, they totally did. They did that for sure. But they also controlled all of the other populations as well because they are very successful predators and were not being hunted by much else in those areas. So they also ate lots of native species of lizards and small mammals and even other birds. So you start to see like other populations really decline after kookaburras are introduced. So everything really changed when the Kookaburra Nation attacked. But they also like compete with native bird species like black cockatoos, which are really cool, by the way. If you've never seen like a picture of a black cockatoo, they're so cool. But kookaburras take up nesting sites that cockatoos also rely on. So they can be really bad for like other native bird populations just because they're like, taking up resources that normally they haven't really been in competition with other birds for. So can really throw the environment out of balance if they are introduced to a place, which I read some like accounts of people who were releasing these things. They were so psyched to be like releasing kookaburras. They went nuts with it. People were like, I released 100 of them. They were just like really gung-ho about it, like taking no sort of precautions whatsoever. They would just literally like open a box of them and be like, fly, go forth. So now there are a bunch of kookaburras all over the place. Oh, and also there's one kookaburra living in the wild in the UK that I guess wound up there by accident and is just doing fine and has been like sighted on and off over the last like 9 years.
Wow.
It's just the one. Which is a really funny like habitat distribution to look at, like the map. Like it's all in like Eastern Australia, a little bit around Southwestern Australia, and then there's just like the one little dot in the UK where there's this one kookaburra. Oh, to be a lone kookaburra. Seeing the sights, doing tourist activities in the UK.
Yeah.
That is the laughing kookaburra.
Well, thanks.
You and I did a lot of laughing in this episode.
We did.
And I hope that anyone listening did too. I hope you had a good time. And if you liked what you heard today, I hope you leave behind some nice words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. Also, if you would like to be a part of supporting our show and also access our bonus content, we put a bonus episode out every single month. August's bonus episode that just went up last week was an episode with Alex Schmidt of Secretly Incredibly Fascinating. It was a really, really fun time. We played a game of Leopardy, which is legally distinct from Jeopardy and is a fun little animal-themed game show that I put together for Alex because Alex has played and also won Jeopardy on TV in the past.
Right.
So we talked about, the experience of being on Jeopardy, game strat, and animal facts. So it was really, really fun. If you want to hear that and all of our other bonus episodes that we've put out over the last few months, head over to MaximumFun.org/join. Finally, we would like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music, which slaps and is real. Now, if we could get some Siamangs and Kookaburras in the theme music, if we could get a little remix, can you imagine a little EDM sort of Kookaburra beat and then a little Siamang hooting, and
that could work.
It could be a sonic nightmare. An audio dumpster fire. Well, that's all for this week. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.